All right, thank you everybody for watching Eastern Volleyball Network. My name is Graham Wren. We have a very, very special guest with us today. Many of you may know him by his reputation, Monica Musak, as his label says, or Austin Banks. How you doing, dude?
Oh man, I'm doing great. I'm really excited to finally be back and playing a tournament in North Carolina.
Nice. Yeah, it's been weird without, Hurricane Banks around for our standard local tournaments, just doing Austin Banks things. It's been a little different, hard to get used to.
Yeah. Just showing Atlanta what's up, I guess.
Nice. Actually, before we dive into this tournament, I thought it might be cool to take 2 minutes to talk about the AVP points. Because Austin and I had a pretty lengthy conversation about AVP points and trying to figure out what was going on, because we were like, as I'm sure a lot of people have noticed, the points have changed. And then if anyone has actually looked deeper at their finishes, for some people, it's like the points function exactly how they've said that they're supposed to function, finish their top 4 finishes within the past 365 days. And then other people, it's grabbing, finishes from way back. And I know Austin was pretty worked up about it. I originally was not worked up about it because I was just kind of sitting here and I was like, cream will rise eventually. I'm not worried about it. But then I took a closer look at it and it's just all weird. So the first thing I noticed, so for pro players, right? They've historically determined your pro points by like your top 4 out of your last 6 finishes. So
Okay.
so what they did was they then took the last 6 pro events, which were the 3 AVP tournaments in 2021,
Yep.
Manhattan Beach Open, Chicago, and Atlanta, all 2021. Then, if you remember, the Champions Cup series in 2020 was not considered valid for any points. No points were given. It was literally just on an entertainment basis. So those don't count as pro events. So then the last 3 events before that were 2019, Hawaii, Chicago, and Manhattan Beach in that order, going backwards. So if you played in the qualifier for one of those 6 events, I believe it is grabbing tournaments for you from that period, from like the Manhattan Beach Open of 2019 up till now. And it's kind of this kind of a glitch, kind of not a glitch, that they did it to try to fix the points of kind of higher qualifier guys who were kind of getting thrown under the bus by this system, by the system change. But it's led to some weirdness kind of on our end. And then kind of within that, I've also noticed that the point system is not functioning accurately, because my points just took another hit from a 313 2021 tournament that is now no longer eligible, but it is still being counted for my partner Misha and for Andrew Mcmurray. And I'm like, this is horseshit. It doesn't matter for this tournament, but I just want the system to work. So it's interesting. Hopefully they'll get it sorted out soon. But for anyone who's sitting here wondering about what's going on with the points, for the most part, I think I've got it figured out, and that's kind of what it is. Is if you've played in those pro events, it's grabbing finishes from that time period. So then once we have our first couple AVP tour events, that 6 event window will now no longer stretch into 2019. And then,
so then by the end of this year, it should be 365 days will theoretically be the longest period of time. So it should just pull from that, right?
In theory, yes. Or if it comes to from pro events, I believe a pro event will still be if it's from your last 6. So those will phase out sooner, but I'm not 100% on that.
Well, we had a lot of back and forth talk about that, huh?
Yeah, we really did. But if anyone was sitting there wondering about that, and why, for example, if you look at most of the people that are in the top 8 or 9 of this tournament, a lot of their points are being grabbed from 2020 or 2019 versus other people's that are not. That I believe that's why. And like I've looked at some people that played Manhattan and didn't play like New York the one before, or and vice versa, and like that seemed to be the line, and it lines up with what we know about number of tournaments. So
cool. I'm glad we got that situated, because I was asking some guys in Florida last weekend about the points, and a lot of them were just like, well, if you're good enough, what does it matter? And I'm like, all right, well, some of us really care about the point system.
Yeah, I mean, the point system matters because they're like, it doesn't matter for like this Wilmington tournament, like it doesn't matter whether we're the 9 or the 10 seed in theory. Like at the end of the day, we're still going to finish relatively around the same. You either deserve to win the tournament or you don't. Exactly. More and kind of the beautiful thing about double elimination is that I feel like bad seeding tends to get sorted out, because you cross over in the losers round, and then I feel like you tend to run into the teams that you think are overseeded anyway. So
almost always, yeah. So
we're not worried about it there, but for capping qualifier purposes, it is potentially a big deal.
Yeah, I think that was my worry, was just the tournaments coming up, trying to make sure what is the theoretical point cap going to be for these teams now that there's a whole new point system.
Right. Right. And that was kind of my thought too, but I also feel like we have enough opportunities to go play some tournaments now before qualifiers begin, that like it's not, I don't think we should, if we perform well at tournaments, like I don't think we'll have trouble getting into like a qualifier range.
Exactly.
All right. So without further ado, round of 24 on the winner's side, 16 seed versus the 17. We have Joey Gordon and Ryan Ludwig out of Virginia Beach making the trip down. We love to see it. Playing Colton Williams and Giora Sella.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Colton's come a long way, I think. Like I got to play against Colton last week down in Myrtle Beach, which, by the way, Myrtle Beach tournament was absolutely awesome. Big shout out to Joe Goodwin running events down there. Colton's definitely come a long way and was hitting the ball pretty hard and being more physical than I'd remember Colton being in the past. All that being said, I think Joey and Ryan are probably too much for Guy and Colton.
Yeah, I was going to say, unless Joey and Ryan show up tailgating by 8:30, I think they've been, from what I've been watching from the TVAs, they've been playing pretty crisp ball early up in the morning.
Yeah, for sure. The tailgate doesn't usually begin until around 10:30, and then things can get a little dicey.
Yeah, okay. So we'll wait till we get there.
Yeah. All right. So the 9 versus 24, we have myself and Misha Freistater against Colin Cohen Gotts and Alex Swanson. So by rule, I don't really get to pick my own matches. So this one's up to you.
Okay. Well, I don't know the last seed. I actually didn't even know we had 24. I thought we only had 23. So just on the fact that I don't think either of us know them, and you guys are the higher seed, I think it would be an injustice to pick them, as much as I would love to see the next seeding turn out. But yeah, I think we should pick you and Misha to go on.
Okay. Next, we have the 12 versus the 21. This is interesting. Mitch McDowell and August Britton against Matt Helmick and Aaron Barlow.
Oh, so who is Aaron Barlow?
I thought you were about to chime in with some knowledge about Aaron Barlow, and I have no idea. All I know is Matt told me that like Aaron was apparently the OG that he played with or came up with or something like that. So they used to play together a while ago, but Aaron has 0 points.
Yeah. But the thing is, Matt Helmick has come up to Wilmington tournaments in the past and blown some people's minds and really like outplayed a lot of people's expectations. And at the same time, I think Mitch McDowell has done the same.
Yeah.
So I think you watched Mick and August play last weekend, I believe, right?
Mm-hmm.
You might have a little bit more insight.
Yeah, I mean, Mitch and August looked good. There's no way around it. Like they looked good. Angel is actually really high on August as well. Said that August has had like an amazing offseason and really, really grew as a player. But at the same time, Matt Helmick informed me of what his nickname for 2022 would be, which was that he was going to be Matty Mattress because everybody is sleeping on him.
Oh.
Yeah. So all that being said, I think I'm going to sleep on Matt Helmick and go with Mitch in August.
I think so too, but I think it might be the game to watch early on in the morning.
Yeah. And frankly, more because I don't know anything about his partner.
Yeah.
Aaron Barlow. So I got to go with, the strong early performance that I saw from Mitch in August last week and trust him.
Yeah.
All right. 13 versus the 20, Kai Dunstan Scott Schwartz against Hunter Weinkoff and Matt Mclaren.
Oh, man. So I saw Hunter play again in a TVA, and he was looking pretty solid. I don't know a lot about Matt's early season right now because I know he's coaching a lot, but I don't know what all he's doing playing wise.
Sure.
But Kai and Scott have always just been pretty decent ball control players that can have really good games, and can also have really bad games. So I think if you have more insight on what they're doing down in Virginia Beach, that might give us more information on this game.
Yeah, I mean, Hunter's been looking solid, and Hunter definitely, when Hunter plays with the right guy who can, not that Hunter passes poorly, but when Hunter plays with a guy who can turn a decent-ish pass into a ball that's right where he needs to be, he becomes a lot more challenging to deal with. And that's kind of what we've seen with Hunter, playing him in a AA setting at times can be kind of easy because a AA level ball control guy isn't going to put him where he needs to be, but an open guy is going to keep him there a lot more often. And I kind of like Matt's experience to kind of bring all that together. And I like their combined physicality over Scott and Kai.
Yeah, I was just thinking, I think physicality up at the net and just swinging in general, siding out will probably be maybe a little bit too much.
Yeah, for sure. And as much as Matt may or may not be training, I do think that, muscle memory will kick in at some point, and that should not be discounted either.
Exactly, yeah.
Former All-American outside for Penn State.
Exactly.
All right, next we've got Gillen, Octave, and Bobby Mitchell against Garrett Big and Jay Madero.
Man, this is going to be a game.
Do you know the other guys?
Yeah, so Gil and Bobby are guys that I train with in Atlanta. So Gil is kind of in our core training group. Every day that we're out there, he's kind of out there with us. And then Bobby lives a little bit outside and just started or helped start a volleyball club. I think it's 575. And so I know, contrary to 757,
yeah,
he runs 575 volleyball. And so he does a lot of coaching all the time. And we play little KOBs on the weekends. His parents have a really cool lake house with some courts. And so we'll go and play. And they could be a really solid team. And they could also be not having the best day. It really is going to depend on how good Bobby feels. I think Gil can really go against the best of them. He's a pretty big physical player. But Jay Madero, man, you can't sleep on Jay ever. So I think it's gonna be a really interesting match, and it's gonna honestly come down to Bobby versus Garrett, because I think those are the two they're gonna serve the whole time.
Yeah, if so they're your boys and you're not ready to just pick them, so I'm gonna go against them. That's kind of how I feel. I
really think they could come out and do well, but Jason Madero has so much experience that he knows how to win points, and this is kind of his home turf, their home turf. So
yeah,
I want to see them do well, but Jason Madero is a hard first game.
Yeah, that's for sure. Dude is always ready to play. All right, 11 versus 22. Brian Conacher, Josh Lanier against Josh Rosenberg and Miguel Hernandez. I'm kind of inclined to go with Josh and Brian here. Conacher and Lanier. they've been training a lot. I don't know how much Miguel's been training. I know Miguel was hurt for a bit like last year and was kind of coming back from that. And I also don't really know Miguel's partner.
Yeah, I agree with you. They've been looking pretty solid from the training stuff that I've been seeing. So
yeah, so unless Miguel can, get Josh and Brian fighting against one another early, I like Brian and Josh to go ahead and win.
I agree.
All right, 10 versus 23. We got Cosby, Sand, and Jack Turner against Zeke, Isadora, and AJ Burkhart. It looks like Cosby and Jack are from the Midwest. I don't know Jack, but I've heard I know Kevin speaks pretty highly of Cosby, and I want to say, talking with like Anthony Winter, he's spoken highly of Cosby as like a young kid who's playing some good ball.
Yeah. I think the only time I saw him play last year was in the qualifiers in Chicago for the Chicago AVP, and I don't know who he was playing with, but it looked like those guys were just very, very scrappy, because that was a very windy day of volleyball and they just never gave up on the ball. So I think Cosby recently took a pretty decent finish down in Texas. And I don't know, maybe his game is really picking up right now, because he was definitely a scrappy player for sure.
Gotcha. Yeah, I mean, I looked at that too. He was playing with Jack Turner.
Okay.
They took a 9th down in San Antonio. So I think we should go with, I think we'll go with Cosby and Jack here.
Yeah, I agree.
All right.
He's from out of town coming in.
Yeah, I don't like picking the out of towners, but I feel like I kind of have to. I like to be right more than I like to, not pick against people I know. 15 versus the 18. We have Phil Catanzaro and Eric Poopeck versus Brian Dirks and Ethan Atkinson.
Man,
do you know Ethan?
Turkey sandwich, man. He really does it.
Yeah. Do you know Ethan or no?
I do. Yeah. So Ethan, if you've ever been to the Myrtle Beach Open or you've played down in Myrtle Beach, Ethan, his dad is the guy who sets up all the food and cooks food for everybody. And he's always handing out food. He's always hanging out around the place. He's a really, really nice guy. And Ethan and actually his older brother are usually playing AA or open, depending on who they pick up. Ethan's like a 6'1", maybe 6 foot, pretty springy player. He's got usually a pretty big mustache, pretty like beefy mustache going on. But I was also watching some clips of him from last weekend. I don't know if he played open or AA in Myrtle Beach, and he's wearing an ankle brace. And it looked like he was jumping pretty well, but trying to really not land on his ankle. So I don't know if that's going to play a big role this week. He could feel much better on it now. But he's a pretty solid player. I would say he should be playing low level open and should stop be playing AA.
Yeah, so that was going to be my insight, was that Ethan was playing AA this past weekend at Myrtle Beach. And, I'm not going to be coy about it. What I would call a pretty weak, men's open tournament. Ethan was playing AA. And I know, Phil Catanzaro, the pride of the USA U21, doesn't I don't know the other guy. Phil doesn't know the other guy, but I kind of want to just go with Phil just based on the fact that, like, if Ethan's not even consistently playing open tournament in, tournament out, I'm like, I kind of like Phil's ability to take over and punish some of what Ethan wants to do. Yeah, no idea who his partner is, and maybe I'm wrong. But given that the other dude is traveling from pretty far away, I'd like to think he's at least decent. So at that point, my guess is that Ethan will be the weakest player on the court. So we'll go with Phil and Eric.
Okay, sounds good.
All right, round of 16. Queckel and Zaka against Joey Gordon and Ryan Ludwig. And we all know how much Joey Gordon and Ryan Ludwig love those early morning, number one overall seed matchups.
Yeah, I would say it would be kind of dumb if we didn't pick Dylan and Queckel to win this, but I would also say that there's a decent chance that you see me putting a side bet out there day of tomorrow morning on the other guys, just because, in the moment, those guys can really get in your head and can also really ball when they're really on.
Yeah, I'm excited for Caleb and Dylan's welcome to the Atlantic region moment, which will be this match.
It will be a good one for sure.
Yes, especially since Joey and Ryan will have had one to warm up and they'll be coming out. I'm excited to see how this turns out, but we are going to go with Queckel and Zaka.
Yeah.
All right, next at the 8 versus the 9, we have Graham Wren and Misha Freistater against Austin Banks and Alec Felt. And, we can both sit here and talk shit about each other and, just kind of let this go sideways and downhill. Or as what we agreed to do before we started the video, we asked Mark Fornicari who we wanted to pick, and he wanted to go with me and Misha just based on Misha's size and steadiness. Didn't want to pick against the machine.
Yeah, so sorry, Mark, but I'm going to probably have to prove you wrong tomorrow, but that's all I can say on that topic.
Yeah, I'm sure it'll be a very entertaining match and definitely not a match that I will be taking lightly.
Exactly.
All right, 5 versus the 12, Andrew Holman, Adam Hartman against Mitch McDowell and August Britton.
All right, Andrew and Adam, I've watched them play in the Atlanta qualifier, and that's kind of all I've watched them play, but I've heard a lot about them, and obviously seeing their finishes, they seem like they're doing pretty well right now. That being said, they're not an overly large team. I think the taller of the two, which I don't know which one's taller, is maybe 6'2", maybe 6'3", but they're pretty athletic players. So I think they're going to win this one, but I don't think it's going to be because they're just, outright better. It might be they have a little bit more experience together because they've been playing together for over a year now.
Yeah, I actually got to play these guys up at Big Shots.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it was not my best showing by a long stretch, and that they did get the win. But I can definitely speak to their athleticism. Both pretty solid players, and they played well together. So I think if memory serves, Adam Hartman is the blocker. I think Adam's size at the net combined with, Andrew's a pretty mobile guy behind him too. So yeah. I like them to pull this out just based on, Mitch is a very good blocker. He's a good blocker, an extremely good blocker for his size. But at the end of the day, I don't think, I think size is going to be an issue here. And then, I know like Mitch and August don't bring a ton of service pressure to the table either. So I kind of like Andrew and Adam to go ahead and win this.
Yeah, I think so too.
In 2. I'm gonna say like 21-16.
Okay.
All right. Pedro Schneider, Mark Fornicari at the 4 seed against Hunter Weinkoff and Matt Mclaren. We got to go with your boy, right?
Yeah. I played with Pedro in Atlanta. We won a tournament together, and then we played in the Atlanta qualifier and didn't have our best showing, I would say. But Pedro's like a 6'6", maybe 6'7", pretty consistent player. He's one of those guys that he shows up after not playing for a month, and it's like nothing changed. He kind of knows the routine. He's a really solid side out player and puts up a pretty big block.
Okay. I think that's enough for me. We'll go with Schneider and Fornicari there.
Cool.
All right. The 3 versus the 14, Andrew Mcmurray, Kevin Knight against Garrett Big and Jay Madero. I like Kevin and Andrew to go ahead and feast on the young gun, Garrett Big here.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree. I think Jay Madero is going to do everything he can. But I think Garrett's inexperience at high level ball, or at least, high level for our area, might be a problem for him.
Sure. All right. Nick Drucker, Brett Rosenmeyer against Brian Conacher and Josh Lanier. sorry, boys. I think Drucker and Rosemeyer are gonna have their way with this match.
Yeah, they're
Too
mad
steady.
about not winning that last one, so I think they're coming out firing.
They're too steady to, I think, for Brian and Josh to really, to really have a chance in this match. And I think one way or another, the analytical mind of Nick Drucker will figure out a way to score some points against these guys too.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting one at the 7 versus 10. John Sutton and Spencer Gaston against Cosby Sand and Jack Turner. This is like kind of close to a coin flip because I think Spencer's playing some really good ball. I asked Kevin, he said like Spencer and Cosby were pretty equivalent. But kind of with Jack's confidence, in traveling to this tournament, and then they also get a warm-up match before this. I kind of want to go with Cosby and Jack.
Yeah, I hate picking against my boy Spencer, and I would say I think that he is definitely going to be the best player on the court, but without really having like a consistent block for his partnership, I think it's going to be hard to make anything happen, especially on any tough match. So I think I'm going to have to agree with you.
Yeah, so we're picking Cosby Sand and Jack Turner, maybe in 3, maybe in 2, over Spencer Gaston and John Sutton. All right, next we have the 2 seed Larry Salefsky and Angel Dache against Phil Catanzaro and Eric Poopeck. And I think we gotta go with Salefsky and Dache here.
Yeah, this could be a fun match if this guy we don't know ends up being a baller because Phil's gonna come out firing, but we don't know him, so we can't say anything.
Yeah, Phil gets set up on a blind date with the 6'5" man of his dreams. That would be something. But
be fun.
Otherwise, we're gonna go with Larry and Angel.
Yeah.
All right, next the round of 8, we have Caleb Queckel, Dylan Zaka. Hey, Lauren, against myself and Misha Freistater. So I guess this pick is all yours, buddy.
Yeah. All right. So I think Misha is going to really have his hands full with these guys, trying to really get some blocks or funnel. These two guys have been playing together for a long time and are just both physically pretty incredible to watch. So I would really like to see you guys take a set off them because I think it's very possible. But just from the history of watching them play and how they've done finishes, I think they're going to take this game.
Okay, fair enough. And we will go with Queckel and Zaka. All right, 4 versus 5, we have Andrew Holman and Adam Hartman against Pedro Schneider and Mark Fornicari.
So I think this is going to come down to the chemistry that Mark and Pedro have, because I think they're both guys that could easily butt heads with their partners. And so, So I think if they click, they could be a super lethal team. But I think if there's any animosity or anything that happens, it could be hard to see them pull out some bigger wins. So I don't know. I think based on the fact that we know Pedro and Mark more than Adam and Andrew, I think I would pick them. But I think it's gonna be a very close game either way.
That's fair. Because if I remember from my match against Adam and Andrew, I mean they brought some service pressure for sure. But I remember leaving that match against them feeling like the only points that they got were a lot of the points that I gave them, if that makes sense. It was a pretty tight match. And like I don't think Adam touched a single. Let me rephrase. I think he touched some of my overlines. I don't think he threw a single one back. So like and he definitely could have, been working on some things since then. But like if he's struggling with my overline as being deceptive, I think most people would agree that Mark's overline is it's kind of what he's known for, whether it's, a high, fast, a pokey, et cetera, et cetera. So to me, it kind of feels like Mark will have his day, and we'll go with Pedro and Mark.
Yeah, I agree.
All right, next, 3 versus 6, Andrew Mcmurray, Kevin Knight, Drucker Rosenmeyer.
Oh, this is gonna be a fun game.
Yeah.
Man, I don't know, man. I mean, all right, to be very blunt, I think based on the last few finishes I've seen, Andrew and Angel maybe just didn't have their best day of volleyball in Andrew's last tournament. So maybe he's looking for that fire to play, to play better, or to show us that was a fluke. But I think consistently Drucker and Rosenmeyer play together more often. Maybe not as long history-wise, but I guess recently. So I don't know. I don't think I can pick against Andrew in this. I think I have to pick Andrew and Kevin. I think Andrew knows how to just control a game, as much as I want to say that the other team's a very solid team together.
Yeah, it's supposed to be somewhat windy tomorrow, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I saw.
Which is interesting, because I think the wind honestly makes me want to go with Drucker and Rosenmeyer. I think they're a little more at home and a little more comfortable in the wind. I think particularly serving. I think it gives Nick even more potency, and gives Brett some things to work with. I think that'll end up being the difference. So tell you what, we'll go odd or even, Austin.
I actually brought a coin. I don't know if you wanted me to flip it, but I did come
Go ahead and
handy with the coin.
Go ahead and do that. I'll take heads, and that'll be Nick and Brett.
Okay, heads is Nick and Brett. We got tails. So okay. Kevin and Angel. Yeah.
All right. Larry and Angel against Cosby and Jack. I think we got to go with Larry and Angel, since we don't really know Cosby and Jack.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, round of 4, Queckle Zaka against Pedro and Mark. I'm pretty ready to go with Queckle and Zaka.
Yeah, me too. I think they've had some really incredible finishes in this last year. So unless they're just not having their great day, the expectations are that they're gonna play very, very well.
Yeah. All right, the other round of 4, we got Andrew Mcmurray and Kevin Knight against Larry Salefsky and Angel. What are you thinking here?
If it is windy, like you say, I think Angel could really do a lot with this game on serves. At the same time, I don't know how much the wind will affect Larry. I assume he's pretty confident in the wind, but I think I've just seen him play the least amount of volleyball between the 4 of them. And I know how, he's a very good player. I just think I've seen the least of it. So
sure. No, I mean, I kind of like I like Andrew and Kevin to win this, whether it's windy or whether it's not. I think more often than not, I think both Kevin and Andrew have, in recent history, have been able to get the better of Larry. It will be more challenging, with Angel as his partner, and Angel being able to win, and score a lot of points for him. But at the end of the day, I like Andrew and Kevin's ability to control that inside out and then earn some points off Larry.
Yeah, I think so. And I was talking to Kevin, and he had mentioned that him and Andrew have been really putting in a lot of work on their serve receive setting abilities, and just varying the sets, moving locations, trying to be a little bit more dynamic. So, if we see some of that, maybe that changes a lot of the game. If they're running around, maybe they're not catching their bearings yet.
Yeah, for sure. I can tell you they're pretty adept at it. typically being the one who's on the other side of the net trying to deal with it.
Exactly.
Yeah, they're pretty good at it. All right, so moving on to the losers, 17th place game, we have Phil Catanzaro and Eric Poopeck against Colton Williams and Giora Sella.
I know that Phil is a good player, a very good player, but I don't think that we can just kind of keep counting other full teams out just because we don't know what his partner is going to do.
Yeah.
So I think Giora and Colton could definitely win this. So I think I would pick them over Phil, just not knowing his partner at all. And he could be great. He could be nothing.
Yeah, that's fair. We can definitely go with Colton and Guy there.
Yeah.
All right. So now we have Sutton and Gaston against Colin Cohen Gotts and Alex Swanson. We don't know the other guys, so I feel like we got to go with Sutton and Gaston.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, this is where it gets interesting. Connor Kern Lanier against Aaron Barlow and Matt Helmick.
Oh, man. Connor Kern and Lanier have been playing very well together. They seems like that they are very passionate about getting better together as a team. That being said, Matt Helmick said that this was his guy. This was his OG. And for whatever reason, I think Matt really enjoys beating Josh. From recent history, I just feel like that happened in the past. But I don't know. I kind of want to give it to Josh and Brian because I think they've been putting in a lot of work. And, Matt said we're going to be sleeping on him. So I kind of want to give him the chance to prove me wrong the first time I vote against him.
Yeah, fair enough. Let's keep sleeping on Matt Helmick. It's
a
good place to be.
Exactly.
All right, next we got Garrett Big, Jay Madero against Kai Dunstan, and Scott Schwartz.
I think Jay Madero knows how all three of these other players play, including his partner, and I think he can probably take over this game and win it for him.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. All right, Hunter Weinkoff, Matt Mclaren against Gil and Bobby. I'll go ahead and let you pick this one.
Yeah. Ooh, this is also gonna be a good match for them because Gil and Matt play a very similar role where Gil played as an outside in the Caribbean for the international team out there way back when. And so I think it's going to be again against Hunter and Bobby on, how they're playing. And I would say that I think Bobby and Gil can put a lot of service pressure out there. They both like to jump serve with a good amount of pace. Bobby's got a pretty solid shot selection. So I think just based on me knowing that they're training right now, and I know Matt Mclaren, is Matt Mclaren and will do Matt Mclaren things, but I think I gotta give it to my boys because they've been putting in the work to do pretty well.
Okay, then we'll go with them then. Mitch McDowell, August Britton against Josh Rosenberg and Miguel Hernandez. I think we got to go with Mitch and August just based on the work that they've been putting in and how they looked last week.
Yeah, exactly.
All right, this next one's pretty straightforward. Austin Banks and Alec Felt against Zeke, Isadora, and AJ Burkhart. We got Banks and Felt all day. And then we have Joey Gordon and Ryan Ludwig against Dirks and Ethan Atkinson. And I like Joey and Ryan to go ahead and win that and take advantage of Ethan as well.
I agree.
All right, 13th place. Guy and Colton against John Sutton and Spencer Gaston.
I think Spencer will be able to kind of take this game into his hands, and I think they're gonna do pretty well and take this one.
No, I absolutely agree with you there. Yeah, I think Spencer will find a way to take over this game. And I haven't seen John Sutton play in God knows how long, but I know he's also been training and getting after it. So
let me tell you, I've been watching some of Spencer live streams all of his, games, and him and John played down in Florida last weekend or the weekend before. And unfortunately, it was like 30-mile-an-hour winds. It was pretty absurd, but they definitely surprised me in their ball control in 30-mile-an-hour winds when I was watching these games. So John Sutton has definitely gotten better since I think last time I played against them, which was maybe 2 years ago now.
Okay. All right. Next we have Brian Conacher, Josh Lanier against Garrett Big and Jay Madero.
You know, I like my boys, Brian and Josh, but again, I think Jason Madero knows how these guys play. And I think he can once again kind of take this game and decide what happens with it.
I know I want to say, I don't remember who he was playing with, but I want to say they played in Myrtle this past weekend, and I'm pretty sure that Garrett gave them a pretty good run for their money, and I don't think it was with Jay. So I'd like to think that I'd like to think that Jay can go ahead and be the deciding factor here and get them a win.
Yeah, sounds good to me.
All right, Gillen, Bobby against Mitch and August, and I feel like this is where we got to call it a day for your boys.
Yeah. I mean, if August is having the breakout that Angel and some of these guys says he was already a pretty solid player to play against. So if he's really picking it up, I know that I know Mitch is going to give every single ounce of effort the whole entire day. So they're going to be a very annoying team to play against.
Yeah. All right, so next we have Austin Banks and Alec Felt against Joey Gordon and Ryan Ludwig.
Oh man, this is maybe my second favorite match of the day if we end up getting here.
Yeah, I really love this matchup.
Take it away.
Yeah, I mean I've seen. I'm gonna be honest. I don't remember which one of the two was Alec, but I saw Alec and his partner play in Myrtle last year, and they I believe took a fifth. I think that they pretty much had the perfect road to take a fifth by virtue of dropping one of their early matches to Josh Lanier and Mitch, and then ran back into them in the losers round for 7th place after Josh and Mitch knocked off Larry and Spencer, and then got their revenge and beat them and took their fifth that way. So they kind of had a perfect road to a fifth. But they also definitely played some pretty good ball. And I know that you've been grinding, and I know you also just took down Brad Connors and Cam Beans. So I feel like I got to give you the benefit of the doubt here, just kind of based on knowing that Alec is solid and the big win that you just got down in Florida. So I'm going to go ahead and go with Austin and Alec.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
I'm ready for the shit talk the whole time. My God.
Yeah, it'll be a lot for sure. Okay, 9th place, we got John Sutton and Spencer Gaston against Andrew Holman and Adam Hartman.
I gotta say, I think Andrew and Adam are just gonna take it. I know that we don't know a lot about them, but they seem to be playing pretty high level ball. And again, without having a blocker, full time or at least a committed blocker on the other side, it's definitely gonna be hard.
Right. No, and I agree with that too. I mean, I think Andrew and Adam are playing are really solid players, and I think that they'll be a little too much for John and Spencer to handle. All right, next we have Garrett Big, Jay Madero against Ren and Freistater.
No, I'm sorry, Jason, but this might be where it might just be too much for you. I think you and Misha play, solid enough together that you guys can definitely exploit Garrett, and Jason's going to do everything he can, but I think you guys just have more ball control and will probably have a much better side out day than he will at that point. He's also played, this is his 4th game, I think, at this point.
Yeah, maybe even 5th. If he won their first one, this will be their 5th.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a long day.
Exactly.
Right. Mitch McDowell, August Britton against Cosby Sand and Jack Turner. I kind of want to pick Mitch.
I think we have to, just because we don't know these guys that well. We're only going off stats.
Right. And we're going off of one. We're going off of like one finish.
Exactly. And Mitch has definitely, last year, I think at the end of last year, outperformed a lot of people's expectations.
Right. No, that's for sure. Yeah, definitely could be a very interesting match to watch, but I do think we need to go with who we know here. We kind of extrapolated with Jack earlier, and I don't think we can do that again. And I think if Mitch and August make it this far, they're going to be playing some pretty good ball in the wind.
Exactly.
All right, Austin Banks, Alec Felt against Drucker and Rosenmeyer.
Yeah, pick wisely.
Yeah. So what I'm getting from this match is that our match is a very important one to win, because a Drucker, Rosenmeyer, or Kevin and Andrew 9th place match is not a place that anyone wants to be in, regardless.
Not at all. And we have to go through the hell of Joey Gordon, Ryan Ludwig right before that.
Right. So I'm gonna go with Drucker and Rosenmeyer and just really focus on winning that match against you.
Yeah, that sounds like a plan.
Yeah. All right. 7th place, we have Ren and Freystater against Andrew Holman and Adam Hartman.
Man. I think those guys may, on paper, be a better team than you guys, but I think I'm gonna pick you guys to take this one, just because I think you've been putting in a lot of work, and I think Misha is, coming out here really ready to ball, and he's just a really big block. And if you don't know how Misha plays, we don't have to talk about it, because I think last year we covered it enough. But if you don't know how Misha plays, that's a lot of points he's going to score before you figure that out.
Yeah. He's gonna high line you to death for sure.
Yeah, exactly. He's just he's a big block, and he takes some balls into his own hands pretty often. So I think this will be definitely going to 3 either way, but I'm gonna pick you guys to come out on top on this one.
Okay, I appreciate that.
Yeah.
All right, next we got Mitch McDowell and August Britton against Drucker and Rosenmeyer.
If I'm not beating them, I don't know. No, I'm just kidding. I think they're also one of those teams that they're going to be exhausted to get to this point. And I think if Drucker and Rosenmeyer or Kevin and Andrew lose, they're coming in with some fire.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so now we're moving up into the 5th place match, and I promised I would try to give Mark Fornicari a ring. What's up, Mark? How's it going?
Yo, where's this FaceTime at?
I can FaceTime you in. You're giving me
amateur hour over here.
What up, Mark?
Pre-tournament road soda.
Nice. Yeah. Is that Spencer right here?
That's it. You better watch out. He's higher speed than you.
Yeah, I know. Austin already picked him to lose, though, so that's awkward.
Austin Banks?
Yeah, Austin Banks. Austin says hi.
Tell Austin his dad was trying to overrule me the other day at Virginia Beach.
Yeah.
Guy couldn't see straight. I was like, I got to get you another beer so you start calling me lines correct.
Man, I saw him get up on that reffing stand, and that's where I just turned the video off and went my separate way and was like, good luck.
All right, Mark.
He asked me, do you mind if I rake the court? I go, yo, bro, knock yourself out.
Hey, good on him. He likes to see good ball, I guess.
Yeah, Mr. Banks was being a real MVP and ranking the court for finals, and making Mark feel like he's still big time, which is good for everybody. So our first 5th place match, we have myself and Misha Mark against Larry and Angel. Who do you like?
Wait, are we through like the contenders portion?
Yes, we are. Yeah, this is
Okay.
this is to get into the semis.
Larry versus Misha.
Correct.
I'm gonna go with the Cuban Missile.
The Cuban Missile. Okay.
The Cuban Crisis.
Yes.
All right. That's a fair pick, Mark. It hurts my heart, but I get it. You got to do what you got to do. I mean, we'll definitely give them everything we can, but it's a tough team. So hopefully if we meet them at that point, we'll be able to take it, but we'll see. All right, our other 5th place match, we have Drucker and Rosenmeyer against Pedro and Mark Fornicari. What do you?
Who are those guys?
Yeah, I don't know, Mark. Mark says drinking a Corona. Those guys. Oh man. Austin.
Can I ask first who we lost to?
We had you losing to Queckel and Zaka.
Well, I'm probably the combined age of both of them. All right, I'll go with us just because Bryce is riding high, and he usually chokes the bed on center court at Wilmington. So I'll go with us.
Yeah, it's not Bryce though.
It's not Bryce?
No, it's Brett Rosenmeyer and Nick Drucker.
Oh, was that a change up, or just I never seen Bryce out there? It's always been Drucker and Rosenmeyer?
I don't know. I thought I saw Bryce on there too, but I think it may have changed at one point.
Drucker can't beat me, so Cash is in there.
I think you heard it.
Yeah,
You heard
whoever
it
it is, Drucker or whoever shows up tomorrow, I guess he's gonna take him.
Yeah, we're gonna go with Mark and Pedro. Just at this point, because also Drucker and Rosenmeyer had a long day through the losers bracket up to this point. So.
Yeah, and it's gonna rain tomorrow probably because Rosenmeyer shows up.
Yeah. Yeah, I think Rosenmeyer. He's been to Bills like 6 times and had like torrential downpour like 5 out of 6 times.
I know. Jeez.
The lady doing the TPS reports over there?
Maybe TPS reports. I think she's knocking out I think some last minute notes before we hit the road.
Yeah, they prepare.
Yeah.
Send out some wedding invitations.
Yeah, we're working on it actually.
I'll call this Capt
I think we assumed that Kevin would not be dating anybody at that time, but maybe we'll make a change just so you can be there, Mark. All right, we got Caleb Queckel, Dylan Zaka against Larry and Angel.
Once again, another 2 surprises.
Yeah, you want to go with the hometown guys?
Really?
Yeah, I mean, Larry's gonna be PO'd because he's gonna be having to tell everybody what to do all day, so he might get fired up later.
You think he's gonna PO'd about that? Not just happy that he's raking in all that sponsor money?
Well, he'll probably pull up with a new whip because he's got all this cash coming in from this tournament.
Yeah.
I like. They're gonna ride high off their win last weekend. I like that.
Okay, fair enough. And then on the other side, we got Andrew Mcmurray and Kevin Knight against Pedro and Mark.
I don't know. Did Andrew and Kevin just go straight through?
They did, yes. I wanted to pick Drucker and Rosenmeyer over him. Austin went the other way. I lost a coin flip. And then I actually like Andrew and Kevin to beat Angel and Larry. So that's how they ended up straight through. I'm not thrilled about it either.
Well, I don't know. It depends on what Andrew shows up. The one that can actually see or the one that can't see.
We are outside, so
Yeah, we're
there's
outside, and I know
one that's
Andrew made a recent trip to the eye doctor, so I think Andrew will be ready to go.
All right.
I think
go with my set.
I do love the confidence, Mark, but I don't know if I trust you twice.
I averaged 2.5 place finish in 2022, so I got to keep that up.
Well, if you're averaging 2.25, I think a third place is getting you well on your way, right?
You're gonna give me the loss then?
I am gonna give you the loss. I think if they found a way to go straight through, they're gonna be rested. I think it's another. I think it's another story if you run into them in like the losers bracket.
There's another finals. Here's another finals I'm reffing.
Yeah. I mean, maybe if we're lucky, we can get Tillman to make a guest appearance to ref with you. I think that's what everyone would want.
Tillman's he's taking a week off at the press last weekend.
It is true. In a battle of I don't know what, like the Masters division for beach volleyball. Mark did manage to place higher than Tillman last week, right? Did y'all play each other or no?
No, we never had to play each other.
Okay, that's probably lucky for Tillman.
They were too busy yelling at you while you were reffing.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. So seems like it's always me. Thankfully, I won't be reffing these finals at this rate. We got Larry and Angel against Andrew and Kevin.
Oh, now here I like Kevin and Andrew.
Yeah.
But if I were to do the tournament from my own perspective, I'm picking Drucker and Rosenmeyer over them.
Very true. That's what I would have done. And
so Kevin, 12 games later in the contenders bracket, I don't know if I'd make the same call.
Right. Well, it's funny. I have the exact same outlook on Drucker and Rosenmeyer as well. I'm like, I don't like Brett 12 games later in the contenders bracket, but if they can come through on the winner's side, so that 3 versus 6 matchup really is pretty important for how this tournament shakes out, I think.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot of good matches tomorrow. A lot of good teams. So.
Yeah, that's for sure. It'll definitely be an interesting one, and I don't know. I'm excited to see all these teams traveling into Wilmington.
Man, and we have 30 women's teams from everywhere.
That's a solid team. You got you guys. You got Felk and his partner. Is that Austin?
Yeah, that is Austin.
Yeah, you got them, and then you got Mitch and August had a good showing last weekend.
Yeah, I think Spencer and John have looked pretty decent too. It's
yeah, I've seen this Cosby Sand name all the time, but he must be good because he plays all the time. So
yeah, I mean, I think he does like decently up in the Midwest, which is a really hard region, But I don't think it's usually with this same partner.
Yeah, I could see you guys taking Gillen and them, or Austin and Phelps to, get pushing Gillen and Caleb.
Yeah, it could be interesting.
I'd love to see it.
Yeah. Well, thanks for chiming in, bud. I appreciate it.
Anytime, man.
Yeah, and I don't know if it's fortunately or unfortunately we didn't hear much from Mr. Gaston, but maybe it's a good thing.
Where do you have him finishing? Let's just end this on a positive note.
We had him losing the Cosby Sand pretty early, and then losing to Mitch in August, so taking a 9th. Oh wait, nope, that's not right. Sorry. Losing to Andrew and Adam, taking a 9th.
It's not bad.
Yeah, it's not bad.
Well, we can always spin the shot wheel if we bust out early.
It's true. Very true. Well, Captain Bill is known for providing the best spirits in the entire Atlantic region, I would say.
Oh, don't plan on putting on your nice T-shirt and going out tomorrow because looks like the finals could be about 11:45.
Yeah,
we're not making it anywhere.
Yeah, we might even, as long as we're going to run, the women's is going to run even longer. They've got like 30 teams.
Yeah, but they take about 3 warm-up swings, so they'll be. They started earlier, an hour earlier tomorrow.
Oh, do they really? They're got the 6:30 a.m. start.
They got the 7. The men's check-ins at 8:30.
Oh.
Tag boards for women first round.
Oh, that's nice. I didn't know. I hadn't checked the email yet. That's good to know.
Well, what's also good to know is when you get arrive to Spencer and you think you're going to Wilmington, but he ends up telling you 10 miles in that we're going to Myrtle Beach.
Seriously?
Yeah, we're on our way to Myrtle Beach now. We're driving up in the morning, but I had to change the correction and tell the person I was staying with, hey, by the way, I'm not going to be there tonight. Slight miscommunication.
You know, Mark, I don't even know where you even got the slightest idea that, you know, this would be traveling to Wilmington. Like, why would that make sense? It's not like we're playing there or, you know, making this whole weekend down there. But I think it's a pretty reasonable expectation on Spencer's part to assume that you wanted to go to Myrtle Beach.
Yeah.
And then when you asked for a ride, that's what you meant.
Well, I'm getting deja vu from last weekend.
Yeah. You can relive your second place.
Unlike you, I went out and coached all day Sunday.
Did you? I didn't know you were coaching.
I did. The people I'm staying with run a beach program, and they asked if I could coach the boys. So I coached 3 teams last weekend, and and our 18-year-olds, we played August and Blake.
Yeah.
My 2 18-year-olds played in like A or double A, and man, today put a clinic on.
Yeah. August and Blake are doing they're doing some pretty good things. Blake's what, only 16?
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah, Blake's 16 and playing open. August is doing, you know, really some pretty spectacular things at the men's open level. They're gonna be kind of close to, you know, doing what like Aiden and Carson were doing last year.
Yeah, definitely. They just, you need a blocker. I guess you can do the split thing, but they're eventually gonna have to go with blockers. But
yeah,
there's not too many Carson Barnes walking around Myrtle Beach, so
yeah, especially at that age, it's hard to find.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not going to find him. Aiden Jeter was going to make an appearance. He was asking me for partners, who I thought. But I guess he never linked up with one.
Yeah. It's a long way to go, you know, if you don't have like your guy, you know. It's hard to travel like 4 or 5 hours when you don't have someone you're excited about playing with, you know.
Yeah. There's no Nolan Albrecht in this tournament.
It's true.
It's wide open.
Yeah.
Wide open.
Yeah. All right, man. Safe travels, and make sure to set no alarms so you don't like oversleep tomorrow.
John Spencer's up first.
Fair enough. Oh, that's right. You probably get to sit around and watch for a bit.
Yeah. The beauty of all my how many ever thousands of American points we have. It's gonna be 50,000 next year. Oh.
Yeah. All right, man. Safe travels. Have a good one.
Yeah, you too.
Bye.
Well,
sorry,
wow.
Sorry that dragged on a little bit. Sorry about that, but
okay.
Yeah, I was not expecting him to go on as long as he did, but here we are. Well, thank you everyone for watching. I'm gonna go ahead and stop recording now and smash that like button.
Yeah.
And subscribe and all those things.
See you first thing in the morning.
Yeah, and hopefully see you there tomorrow.